I mean, I'm not foolish. I know my kids have drunk before they were of age. And it's teenagers' jobs to break the rules. I mean, that's part of the human development process is they have to start coloring outside their lines. They got to push boundaries. They got to break the rules. It's just part of it. And you just want to do it where they aren't getting hurt. You know, we have let them have a glass of champagne at the holidays, or if they want to have a beer with us, you know, sitting around or whatever. We don't prohibit it. We're not like saying, yes, let's like drink, but if they want something, they can. And usually it's like a sip and then they put it down. It's not a rite of passage necessarily, but I'm trying to demystify the process.
Welcome to Three Little Fishes. We're three sisters who grew up in the Midwest together, but have since spread across the country. I live in Los Angeles.
I'm in Nashville.
And I live in Philadelphia. We are all married with children. We've all had careers, but now we stay at home with our families.
We've all been through ups and downs that come along with life and have always helped each other through, shared stories, and laughed together.
We welcome all of you into our daily conversations and hope you have some fun with us.
So let's jump in.
What's up, fishes? Hello.
What's up?
Let's get into it. What's the buzz? So some sad things happened this week. Terry Garr passed away. Do you all remember her from
Mr. Mom?
Mr.
Yep.
Mr. Mom and Tootsie. She was amazing. And she was also Phoebe's mom in Friends,
That's
if you all
right.
watch that. So thinking about her. And then Quincy Jones died too.
Icon.
That's that. Yeah, he's an icon.
Total icon. So we also had an election, but I did not watch it. I instead chose to watch Martha Stewart, the documentary on Netflix. Has anybody watched this?
I have
thought
not
it was-
watched this yet.
Okay.
You have not watched it.
I thought it was really well done. I thought it was interesting. You know, she was like the first influencer, and I didn't really put it all together until they spelled it out for us in this documentary. And, you know she invokes a lot of strong feelings in people because she is all about things being perfect. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yes.
every single book she's done, every single thing she does is all about perfection, which is impossible to replicate, in my opinion. But I will say I was super fascinated because she is the first person to think about certain things like starting a magazine, writing all these books, doing TV shows, making a conglomerate, like this huge company that she made. Like she actually is just like an amazing force. And I was fascinated listening to her. She is not a warm, fuzzy person. Like I don't know that she and I could be friends because she's so Martha, but I thought it was interesting.
I feel like I like what she does, but she's too stuffy for me. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about her, but I just feel like maybe some of it's like fake or I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the Snoop Dogg thing with her and they're like good friends.
I actually love those two together.
I don't know.
So funny.
I don't know how I feel about her. And then the insider trading thing, I'm just like, I would never do that. So that kind of always made her like a little bit lower on my list.
Tainted. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I
who
don't
knows?
know.
I mean, that could have been people that she was trusting to give her advice. I mean, I don't want to say I'm in her shoes, but I don't know. There's just always been something about her that's bothered me.
I don't think it was on the up and up. I watched it. I don't think it was on the up and up. I don't think she was completely forthcoming with it, but I don't know if she deserved to go to jail. I don't know if she did anything more egregious than lots of people do. I'm not sure about that. I'm not an attorney, but my sense was that she maybe was prosecuted because they simply didn't like her and that she gave them an opening, which they could. But I will say
they
she
could
does
have
come
been making an example. You know how they
could have been
sometimes.
making an example. But I do think that she does come from a background of a little bit of trauma. Like I think that she had a tough upbringing. And I think when you're not nurtured and you grow up tough like that, I think that's a tough thing. So but she used that, and she was an amazing businesswoman. Was she a great friend? Was she a great mother? I don't know. Do I want to go have tea with her like I want to with Ina? I don't think so. But I have mad respect for the billions that she created, and you got to give it to her. She has a lot of grit,
I mean, she definitely
you
thought
know,
outside the box, and she
yeah.
broke glass. So that I admire her for that. Yeah, I don't know that I want to go have tea with her, but she's
I'd be afraid
definitely a
something's like
force.
out of place, or I'd be like,
I'm not sitting having tea with you, Kathy. You
I
have a
mean,
stain on your shirt.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, but it was fascinating, and I was like, oh, this is 2 hours. Like, I'm not going to get through this, but
Yeah.
I was hooked the entire
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah,
if
I
this is,
was too. It was
so
good.
it got my attention.
I thought it was
I need to
really
watch it.
interesting. It was fascinating. Yeah, she's a force. Kath, what's going on, PA?
So Pennsylvania is definitely making the buzz lately. I don't know what's going on.
It's a hot ticket.
It's like a hot state. I don't know. It's just well, Jason Kelce got himself in a little bit of trouble last weekend because he heckled a fan that was not saying some nice things about his brother. And I get that he's standing up for his brother, but he took the guy's phone, slammed it to the ground, and then took it from him. So I was like, I think personally, I was a little bit disappointed in his behavior because I feel like he, is such a celebrity that he should be above that kind of thing. I mean, these kids are looking up to him. They're watching his every move. And that's something that he should not be doing. I mean, he could have said something to the kid, back if he wasn't happy with him, obviously. But I think destroying his property is not a cool thing, is my opinion. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I heard him talk about this. He gave a statement about it, and
Yeah.
I thought it was very heartfelt. And he said that he lost his temper. He said he responded hate with hate, and he said I should have just walked away. And he regrets not walking away. I
Well,
think that it's difficult. I think it's difficult to rise above it, but the unfortunate thing, in my opinion, whether you're a celebrity or not, and maybe you all don't agree or you do agree, I don't think that you can behave this way just because somebody is behaving terribly against you. I just don't think you can take their property and destroy it
right.
because they're hurting your feelings. I am not condoning what this heckler did. I don't think that that's okay, but I do wish that we could handle our feelings in a more positive way instead of lashing out at each other all the time. But again, that's the Pollyanna in me that I just, I wish we could all be a little bit better.
So what do you think he should have done?
He apologized, and I do think he felt bad for that. But he has a lot riding on that. I mean, he has so many endorsements from all these companies. I mean, I'm sure there's something in his contract that says if you know, have some kind of altercation or something, I mean, he could get dropped. So it's like a
Right.
bigger deal than just, this altercation. Like, I don't know. I just think people do make mistakes, and maybe he's learning from it. I mean, it's hard to put yourself in his shoes, but I do think he should be above that, though. I would feel bad if I hurt somebody's like phone.
Property. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that. I don't know. That's me personally. I would feel
So
bad.
just walk away. Is that what he should have done? Is just look at him.
Well, he should have probably like said a few words and walked away. Like,
I mean, in that situation, I do think he should have walked away. I mean, it's different if he would have put his hands on him physically or tried to assault him. It was words, and words are not nice and they are hurtful. But I do
yes,
feel like sometimes we're trying to teach our kids. I'm trying to teach my daughter that you have to like walk away sometimes. Less is more.
right.
Like don't add fuel to the fire. And,
Well,
and then why we see this with Jason Kelce, like, adding fuel to the fire and taking his property and throwing it to the ground. I just feel like we need to work on being a little bit better about we can express our feelings without being so over the top, in my opinion.
I just say people need to be nicer. Like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Tensions are high for whatever reason. I feel like we are a very hot button country right
Yeah.
now. Like, I just feel like everybody's ready for a tussle. Like, like I think I said last week, somebody bumped into me in the grocery store and I just smiled at them and it immediately de-escalated them. Like, not
Right.
everybody's coming at you. But in this case, I mean, this guy was out of line. Like, he
Yes,
was,
I totally agree with you. That kid
but
should have been
Everybody doesn't need to hear your thoughts on everything. Don't
right,
sip at people out
right,
there.
right.
totally,
Right.
totally.
Be quiet. Just be quiet.
All right.
If you have something nice to say, don't say anything at all.
We've drummed on a long time about Jason Kelce. What else is happening in PA? What else is the buzz out there?
Okay, there is more bonus buzz, okay?
Bonus buzz. Let's hear it.
Bonus buzz.
There also was a high school party last weekend that I guess got out of hand. There was like a couple hundred kids there, and I guess the parents that hosted the party had porta potties. I think someone told me they had security there. I don't know if that is true, but that's what I was told. But the cops raided the party, and we think they raided the party because another high school team is a rival and they were like trying to narc on them. So, I mean, can you imagine the cops show up? Well, they also found kids doing drugs in the basement. So the parents were arrested and handcuffed and put in the car. I mean, in front of everyone. And I believe they spent like over more than a night in jail.
Aye, aye, aye.
Which, okay, just I can't even fathom that. Like,
I don't think any of us would do well in jail.
that would not be good for me. I mean, I would be.
No. I rock at the thought of jail, honestly. I would
be
not.
very popular in jail.
Oh,
Oh
yeah, yeah.
gosh, I mean, I
All the
can't even
wrong
imagine.
reasons.
There's a lot to unpack there. I mean, first of all, like a party that parents feel like they have to get porta potties for because you're expecting so many people that your house can't handle the bathroom
Yeah, I mean,
situation.
there's a lot wrong with this.
Right. I mean, and then the other thing is, I mean, did the parents just say, this is just a big open house, a festival, just come and it's a place to hang out? Or are they sanctioning underage drinking and the drugs being done in the basement? Like, I guess my thing is, did they know about it? What were the parents' end game? What did they think? I'm not trying to shame them, but kind of also like, what did you expect was going to happen when you were opening your doors to this big, it kind of feels like a rave.
It seemed like it was a rave. To be honest, I actually don't know. We've hosted a couple things at our house just because we have two high schoolers. And, what's happened with these young kids is they'll like sneak it in. You won't even know that it's around. So it's like the parents may be completely against it, but they might just have no idea that it's going on. And there's actually people that these kids can call that are like basically a carrier for this, whatever you want to have at this party, and they'll bring it to you like a Uber.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy what's happening with these kids. And I'm always like getting sweaty when my son's like, can I have people over? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to handle it. It's just gotten to be, it can get out of hand. But I think having porta potties is definitely a sign that these parents were aware that it was escalating to a huge party.
I mean, it's a tricky situation, right? Because I want to have an open door policy for us to have our kids. I want you guys to have a place to hang out. It's fine. But
Yeah.
I can't sanction you breaking the law. Like, you can't drink until you're 21. So I can't have you come here and try to drink and hang out. But your friends can come and hang out all day long that you want. I'm happy to have them. And I've always said, and if you go to a party and you get in a situation and you get in trouble or you need help, call, no questions asked. we'll come and we'll get you. And that, no questions asked again. But I just can't sanction these young kids breaking the law, even though I know that they think it's the rite of passage. But I also don't want to get in trouble. And honestly, I don't
Right.
want that. I don't want that on my shoulders. Like, what if something were to happen to them and it was on my watch? Like, I couldn't live with myself.
That's what weighs
Yeah.
on me. It's like you don't
Yeah.
want anyone to get hurt, like, with a party. Like that's
Mhm.
something that I could not live with. But I don't know. It's a very tricky
I
situation.
think that those parents were asking for trouble.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think so too.
there's no way you can monitor that size of a party and bonus expect people to color within the lines.
Right.
So I think that's just you're just it's just not right. You
Right.
set yourself up for failure there.
Right.
And it's teenagers' jobs to break the rules. I mean, that's part of the human development process is they have to start coloring outside the lines. They got to push boundaries. They got to break the rules. It's just part of it. And you just want to do it where they aren't getting hurt. I think,
Right.
it's different nowadays too, because with Uber and Lyft and all the driving services, like I mean, I'm not foolish. I know my kids have drunk before they were of age. I have somebody of age, one a year away, and then I have a senior. And, we have let them have a glass of champagne at the holidays, or if they want to have a beer with us, sitting around or whatever. We don't prohibit it. We're not like saying, yes, let's like drink, but if they want something, they can. And usually it's like a sip and then they put it down. And I know, we have kids like small, 5 kids here regularly. And I'll just say, listen, you guys can't be drinking. And I think most of the time they don't. I will say they are, like you said, Kathy, kind of good at hiding. And
Hmm.
I feel like it's fine if I don't find out about it. But if I find out about it, then I got to deal with it. So I'm very open with them. Like, listen, you guys, you can't drink and drive. I'm not sanctioning this. So, if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
sneak it and I
Well,
find out about it, okay, I turn a blind eye only because I feel like it's not a rite of passage necessarily, but I'm trying to demystify, you know, the process.
yeah.
And
I
I
feel like kids
actually,
these days are good about Ubering. Like
yes,
we've kind of instilled it with the whole drinking and driving thing, which
yes,
is
and they're
different
good.
than
They don't
when
do it.
we grew up. It was,
Right.
Right.
Uber was not a thing. So
Right.
I do
Right.
I do think that's a great service that
I
we
mean,
have now.
the drug thing really bothers me, and I will say something kind of controversial. Like, if kids are going to break the rules, I'd rather have them drink than smoke pot or do other things.
Yeah,
And the
I'm an
reason,
anti-drug person.
my rationale for that is alcohol. If you look at the label, you know what's in there. It's regulated. You know how
Right.
much alcohol you're. If you choose to over imbibe, that's on you. But
Yeah.
you know what you're consuming. Everybody is like smoking weed and like getting high and all this stuff nowadays. You don't know what you don't know what you're ingesting because it's not regulated.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't like that. And I don't like that we don't really have a way of testing if you're high or not. Like, I went out to Portland, Oregon like a year ago. I swear my cabbie was high the whole time.
Which is
I
scary that he's
I
driving
was
you around.
I was in the middle of nowhere going from
I
one
mean,
town to another with a high driver, and I was like, I remember I was texting my husband like, "I might not make it. I don't know." I mean,
Well,
I
the
don't even I would have him pull over, but there's no we're literally in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what I would do. So I think the drug thing is a huge problem. I don't like that people think it's not a big deal. Stop smoking stuff, people. It's yucky for your lungs and you don't even
yeah.
know what's in that shit.
Well, the
Right.
other thing is like fentanyl is such a big thing, right? And it's
Yeah,
laced
it's so
with everything,
scary.
and it's so scary. And the other tiny little thing is, it's not tiny, it's huge, is what I say to my kids all the time is that you don't know what your brain's going to do with drugs, just in general. And if they're laced with something, like it could open up a door that you honestly cannot close again, and it will change you forever. So
Right.
it's like, and you don't know if you're that person until you actually ingest it. So
Right.
it's not worth the risk of completely rewiring your brain
Right.
Yeah.
for just this moment of time. So just don't do it. Like,
Don't do drugs. It's not worth it.
as Nancy Reagan used to say no to drugs.
Say
Yes.
no
Say
to
no.
drugs.
Nancy
Well,
Reagan had that one right. Say no to drugs.
she had that one right. Yeah.
So
Amazing.
before we move on, you guys, we're going to talk about everything Friendsgiving because we're in that holiday season. But
Yes. Love it. Love it.
before we jump into it, I just want to remind you all to please rate, review, subscribe, and please continue to tell your 3 favorite fishes and have them tell their favorite 3 fishes to like and subscribe to our podcast and jump into the conversation.
Around Halloween time, I really do start thinking about the holidays. It's like the season kind of kicks off. And in November, of course, we have Thanksgiving. And so we were thinking that we would talk about Friendsgiving, which is something 2 of our 3 kids have done several times. And it's just, Friendsgiving is kind of a new word. It just got put into the dictionary in 2020.
I love that you know that it just it's a word now.
It's actually real. It's a real word. And it's just what it is just like a gathering of your friends. So, a lot of times Thanksgiving meal or Thanksgiving is with your family. Friendsgiving is obviously with your friends. And so we have some ideas of how you could host like all the different themes you could do for a Friendsgiving. But I did just read a little article. So Harvard did this research. They looked at 309,000 people and found that people who don't have strong friendships tend to be more depressed, have later life cognitive decline, and frighteningly enough, were more likely to die at a younger age. So it's important to, nurture those tight friendships. And this one way to do it is to host a Friendsgiving. And I think, we're kind of party girls, if the listeners are picking up on that from the last 3
Love a party.
podcasts. We love to get together with people. We love a party. We love our food and drink. And so some of us like to host at our houses, and some of us like to go out, and some of us like both. So, what are some ways that you guys have celebrated Friendsgiving in the past? Kathy?
So I've gone to a luncheon before, which is kind of like a grab bag where you bring one gift and then
Yeah.
you guys exchange one gift among everybody.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's like we're having a nice little lunch and we're just chatting away, and then we're just reaffirming our friendships with each other, which I feel like is such a nice way to do it. It warms my heart when that happens because it's like when your friend is like, you mean a lot to me. I mean, that's kind of a
Yeah.
powerful thing for someone to
It
say
is.
that,
Huge.
right?
You get like those warm fuzzies, you're just like,
I mean, it's just
"Aw,
not, it's like
I
a
love you
nice
too."
thing.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes Thanksgiving or the holidays in general can be stressful with your families, like depending on who it is. But Friendsgiving is not stressful to me. It's just very nice, and I like
Yeah.
it.
It's a nice excuse, right, to get together.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
good excuse to get together. So, Nancy, I think you came up with some ideas. So, like, you could do a charcuterie board contest with your friends, which would be
Yep.
fun. You
If you
could do
hosted
brunch.
it, yeah.
Yeah, you could host an ice cream bar with maybe like a special cocktail. You could do a movie marathon with popcorn, which is
See,
one of our
I like that idea.
I like that idea too. You could do a potluck, which is what my girls do when they invite people over. And actually, it's so sweet because the times that they've done it, they like get out the linen tablecloths and they get out candles and they,
Yeah.
set a really pretty table, and then everybody
Nice.
brings something. And I love that for them. Or, I I think we all did this during COVID. It's like a Zoom. You
A
just set
Zoom
a time.
cocktail hour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is,
a Zoom Friendsgiving. I think we could do
Yeah.
that.
I like that idea a lot too, because even though we all live a couple of my good friends really, they live far from me. You all live far from me. I do like
Mhm.
that idea about bringing back that Zoom idea.
Mhm.
And another
Mhm.
tiny little thing that you did not mention that I'm thinking about for this year. I'm not thinking about it. I'm going to do it. But I was invited to a Friendsgiving this year,
Mhm.
just recently. So this topic is like appropriate. And the last time I saw these group of ladies, my friend who was hosting us, she was having us over for cheese and wine. And
Mhm.
I come in and I go into her kitchen and she's like, which glass do you want? And it looked like a Bud vase. And then she had like a Dixie cup and something else. And I was like looking at her
Oh,
and, and she started laughing. She's like, "Yeah, this is what they're doing now at the cocktail parties. Like these are the kind of how they're serving glass." Like she's trying to spin it, but to put some context in it, this friend of mine is always dressed to the nines. She always,
yeah.
has everything just perfect. But she started laughing. She's like, "Nancy, I'm so embarrassed." She's like, "I realize I'm the only one in my house that drinks wine. And I don't know. I must have broken all my wine glasses. I don't have any." So I think when I go to this particular Friendsgiving, it's just a couple of us
Mhm.
who I get together with like once a month. And I think I'm going
Mhm.
to go and find inexpensive, different wine glasses. And I'm going to gift them each a wine glass. So when we get together for our once a month chats, they're going to each have their own individual wine glass.
That's
Yeah,
so
that's a good
cute. That's
gift.
a
That's a
good
good
idea.
gift.
Well, I think it's always nice to bring the hostess a gift, like something little. It's
I've done
nice.
that in the past too. And I actually posted some gifts in the show notes, are just some inexpensive ideas
Mhm.
of just like tea towels or
I
wooden
love a tea
spoons
towel.
that have lovely little expressions on them about friendship,
Mhm.
which I always love. I mean, maybe I'm a
Thankful for
sucker. I
you.
don't know,
Yeah.
but I think they're kind of cool to get. So
Well, I
you can
think
look
it's a
into.
nice gift in the sense of tea towels. They get dirty and you like get
Yeah, they don't
stained.
last. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're
Just
hosting a party, something else that I think all three of us love is a game. And I
yeah,
think I'm going to buy a couple of games, not for Friendsgiving, but for Thanksgiving. Kathy, you put a link in the show notes for a company, right? I'm
yeah.
going to
Well, I was
order
just
from
kind of
them, I think.
researching it because I, you know, I do love games,
Yeah.
You,
and
yes, you do.
I mean, we always have a game at every holiday. We do something,
Always.
I
Yes.
mean,
but
and I don't know what that says about us growing up, but mom and dad must have had us competitive because we are real competitive with our games at
Yes.
every event.
Yes.
um,
Borderline not healthy.
it could be. I don't know, but these are nice games. I actually found this company I was researching, and it's called Big Dot of Happiness.
Yeah.
And it turns out this company is from Wisconsin. And I guess that's why I like it, because it's from the Midwest. But
Mhm. Mhm.
she started it in 1999, and she and her husband grew this company. But she, first of all, made all these like paper goods by hand. And they're all like, you know, party supplies for birthdays,
Mhm.
births, the holiday parties, their yard signs. I mean,
Mhm.
you could go on bigdotofhappiness.com and look for yourself, but they have everything you would ever need for any special event. But I just kind of like their story about how
Yeah, it's
they do
sweet.
it for like 20 years, and then they actually just sold it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But their stuff looks cool, and
It does.
they
I
had
looked I'm going to buy that one that it's like you wear a turkey on your head and then you put a feather on it. It has a word. It's like that headbands game. I think I'm going to
Yeah.
get that. That looks so
I actually
fun.
saw that too. I think I might do that as well for Thanksgiving. But they had they had a Friendsgiving one that was kind of like some 4 games you could buy for like $15, and it's like
Yeah.
get to know your friend better, or
Yeah.
do you like this or that, or you're thankful for this. I mean, it was kind of, I thought, a cute idea. So if you guys are interested, you could look at the show notes and you can check it out.
I love it. We're
Okay.
totally
Fun.
doing that. I love
Yeah.
that idea. Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Our friends have to be celebrated.
And I honestly think we're all just looking, or at least I'm always looking for just some joy, some fun, some light. And
Yeah.
so it's a good excuse to be able to
I mean,
host
that's what
people.
life's about, right?
Yeah.
You have
Right.
to love your people.
Well, happy Friendsgiving to everyone out there. We want to hear
Yeah.
how
Happy
your Friendsgiving
Friendsgiving.
goes. Please give us your tips, the things that you loved about your Friendsgiving, maybe some things you wish you would have done differently, and we'll log it for next year. So let
Oh,
us know.
yeah.
Let
I
us know
love
how
Yeah.
it
that.
Sounds
goes.
good. We'd love your feedback. Yeah.
Girls, before we sign off, I wanted to circle back really quickly as we're talking about Friendsgiving. I'm thinking about the kitchen and organizing. Do y'all remember
Mhm.
when we had Dunk on a few weeks
Mhm.
ago and she was talking
Mhm.
Yeah.
about organizing? I
Mhm.
have a lazy Susan that I mentioned that I had filled with Tupperware, and she's like, I don't know if I would use Tupperware for that. I would use, so I reorganized that and I moved um I moved food in there, like canned goods and things, the things that I'm using more, and I moved the
Mhm.
Tupperware out. And I will tell you that tip for me has been huge. And I'm liking how
Oh,
the flow of the kitchen is working better. So I just want to give a
okay.
shout out to Dunk that for me, that was a great tip. What's for dinner, girls?
My friend Donna shared this lentil soup recipe with me. She
Mhm.
says it's very, hearty, and it's great for this time of year. So
Mhm.
I posted it in the show notes, and
Mhm.
it's relatively easy to make. So that's what we're
Good.
having for dinner tonight with some bread.
Good.
That
That
sounds
sounds great.
delicious. We are going to just have fried perch. I'm going to find fried perch or
Oh,
some sort of, I don't know if I'll be able to find perch, but like a light fish in honor of Tim's papa's birthday. It would have been his birthday today,
oh,
and that was his favorite meal. So I am going to
oh.
make some sort of
Fried
light
fish.
fried fish, and I'm going to bake a pie because he loved pie. So
What
just
kind of
thinking,
pie?
Nice.
he liked any kind of pie, but I think his
Oh,
favorite was a berry pie. So
okay.
I don't know if I have it in me to make a berry pie because I've never done that before, but maybe an apple pie or a cherry pie or something. But just, you know, doing that for Tim to kind of sh- shout out to his grandpa.
Well, I'm not doing anything homemade tonight. We're going for sushi. We have a hockey game, a high school hockey game, and the rink is right by this sushi place that we kind of like. So
Oh, nice.
we're going to do that.
I love that, going out to dinner. Well, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast and letting us sisters jump into your day. Please make sure to follow, rate, and review us. We would love to have your feedback. Also, please share our podcast with 3 of your favorite little fishes so we can grow. Have a great week and a wonderful weekend, sisters.